Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mike, Common Guy Sports, back for day 3, second day on the weekend, but overall day 3, session number 5, 2025 Madison Area Y Ice Cube Invitational. Just wrapping up warm-ups. You see a few of the teams getting behind the blocks. We're going to start with relays. This session starts with event 51. Odd numbers are girls' events, even numbers are boys' events. We're going to have 2 heats to start for the 10 and under 200-yard medley relay. I think yesterday we had freestyle relay. Today we're going medley. And this session goes up until event 62. So 51 to 62. You see that on the bottom right, that white text that's scrolling up. That is our menu for this event, this session. Again, this is the 10 and under session. We'll be back later for middle-aged kids, 11, 12, and then this evening for the 13 and overs. What else? All this meet information is in Meet Mobile, so it's an app you could download for your phone or tablet and search for 2025 Ice Cube Invitational. I posted a link in the chat here for this stream. I did a quick tutorial yesterday on Meet Mobile, showing you what the interface is and so on. It's pretty intuitive. The nice thing is that you don't need to subscribe to get the results for this meet. Madison is pushing them out without the charge or any fees. I'm just getting situated. Again, we're starting with event 51. You'll see the scoreboard has not been updated yet. That will get rectified in a second. All right. Control Q, shift control Q. All right, so on the top right of your screen, in a second it'll be there. Top right where it says next race in the orange text, those are going to be the teams for this first event, event 51. And then as we move along, I will continue to I'm sorry, I'm trying to type and do something type and talk at the same time. As we move along, I will update that text there with the information of the next race that's coming up. So if you think of baseball, those are the on-deck hitters. All right. Again, all this information is in Meet Mobile. If you don't know where a swimmer that you have interest in is swimming, go in there. You can plug in, you open up 2025 Ice Cube, go into session number 5, and then you can search based on a swimmer's name. And then if you'd like to, you can star them, basically favorite them, and then you'll get all their future races listed, and then you would also get notifications if you enable that. All right, so at the start, if you're new to watching our coverage of meets, at the start I will pop up the names and logos. So in this case, this is the teams. All right, the official's just going down the line, verifying we have 2 timers behind the blocks for each lane. All right, so at the start I'll do that. I'll shut that off. I'll jump to this camera mid-pool. This is just wide if everybody gets separated, gives us the ability to see everybody. Have a camera down the far end showing you the turn. And then we have a moving camera too. We could do that. All right, so behind the blocks, you see the swimmers getting ready. Here's their lane assignments. There's going to be a little sun glare on the pool. I apologize. Can't really control that. We are looking due east from the balcony perspective. If you've ever been to Madison Y, we are basically just up on the balcony here on the left-hand side. The entrance is there. There are some spectators that will stay outside. You do get a vantage point. On nicer days, we'll get lawn chairs outside. All right. Take a quick pan down for the swimmers. Lane 1, top of your screen, the far lane. In this particular first event, we have Madison Area Y in 2, WFY, that is Wyckoff Family Y in 3, their B team. Madison in 4, their C team. MYM Montclair in 5, their D team. WY, which is Westfield YMCA in 6, and RY Ridgewood in 7. So that's a look at Westfield and Ridgewood in 6 and 7. Okay, here we go. Again, 200-yard medley relay. We'll start with backstroke, which is different than the individual medley because you can't really do a backstroke other than the first leg of a team event like this. So now on the top right, that text is going to get updated with the teams in the next heat, which will be heat 2 of 2. All right, again, we're starting with event 51. So if one of the kids told you, hey, I'm in 51, heat 2, lane 3, might have just come through as 51, 2, 3. So it's event number, heat number, lane number. All right, and you'll see that. Do we have the time? Let's see real quick. I'm looking kind of. You'll see the swimmers will potentially write it on their arms. I don't see anybody. There's maybe some right. I can't see it. All right. Might find that later. All right, let's go back. Here's the start. Backstroke for all the teams. We have underway. All right, in the pool, lane 2, Sarah Lynn. Lane 3, Catherine Lamotta. Lane 4, Emmy Sucato. 5 is Bree Lewis. 6, Fave Coughlin. And 7, Catherine Carter. Early lead there, Catherine in 3. So they'll be transitioning to the second swimmer. That is the Wyckoff team up in lane 3. It's a nice split, 38-16. Again, the names are not updated correctly, so it's recording the times. Don't worry about that. They'll just associate it on the back end. All right, second swimmer's in. That is lane 3, just above the sun glare there. And lane 7 having a great push here. That is Elza in 7. Up in 3 is Lillian Bruffy. These are our second swimmers in. All right, I didn't cover all the names, but we had Cecilia, Lillian, Edith, Lily, Charlotte, and Eliza finishing up. Now entering the pool. Up in lane 2, Megan. Then we have Chloe in 3. 4 is Eloise, 5, Hannah, 6, Ellie, and 7, Bianca. Already at the far end, lane 7's made up that distance of the early lead for lane 3. All right, we'll have our fourth swimmers, freestylers, entering the pool. Lane 3 with a slight lead here. Lane 3 is your Wyckoff team. So entering the pool will be in lane 2, Cora, Lane 3, Alice. Lane 4, Devin. Lane 5, Dylan. Lane 6, Charlotte. Lane 7, Julia. Okay, this is our lead group. That's Julia there in 7, making up distance. All right, lane 7 closest to us is the lead group. Lane 4, you see, still finishing up previous stroke, butterfly. And into the finish, lane 7. They came in on a 3:17.69. All right, ignore that lane 6 getting the first place finish. They had an additional touch. With the relays, it's a little tough as the swimmers are climbing out. If they don't get out quick enough, it'll register a touch. But I think unofficially 2:54 for lane 7. Again, they came in 3:17.69. Nice improvement, ladies. All right, we still have a team out in the pool. Again, lane 1, top of your screen. This is lane 4 coming into the finish. Fighting the sun glare a little. Sorry, folks. Do the best we can with that. All right, upcoming is heat 2 of 2. Again, ignore. Oh, there the names just got updated. It's interesting that the template, basically the scoreboard gets a template much like a PowerPoint, and the even number lanes there are just pre-populated with the fixed value. Oh, now they're fixed. Nice job to the staff from just in timing down in the office. All right, we're underway here in heat 2. So you can see lane 1 is GMY, 2 Madison B, 3 Montclair A, 4 Madison A, 5 Whitecoff A, 6 Ridgewood A, 7 Montclair B, 8 Montclair C. All right, let's go back to the start. All right, we had Victoria, Zoe, Bridget, Beatrice, Catherine, Carmen, Carolina, and Natalie finishing up there. Entering the pool will be Hannah, Wilhelmina, Ruby, Niev, Panina, Layla, Claire, and Amelia. Those are the swimmers' second leg in the pool. Lead group already at the far end, lane 4. That is the Madison A team. Should be Maeve McVeigh there turning. We'll do a quick look in on Maeve. All right, we'll take you wide, get an idea of where everybody else is. And we have third swimmers entering here. Should be Annabelle, Bryn, Sophia, Isla, Lisa's in 5, Anika, Bibi, and Cora finishing out 6 through 8. Names are updated top right for the boys teams in their heat 1 of 2 up next. All right, lead groups are ready, turned, working their way back on the butterfly. See that lane 4 going away from us just under the black box on the top right. We'll go back for our final swimmers. We'll be entering the pool. Lane 1 will be Emma, 2 Maisie, 3 Sarah, 4 Victoria, 5 Abigail, 6 Zelda, 7 Nayla, and 8 is Julietta. All right, we'll stay here as the swimmers are still coming into transition. Our lead group will be coming back into your picture. Lane 4, they're being challenged by lane 6. They'll come into your picture here. Lane 4 and 6, 2 freestylers under the flags. Lane 6 with the big push at the back end. They go low. All right, 2:31. So again, lane 6, Ridgewood. Ignore that lane 7. That was a previous touch. Unofficial Ridgewood 2:31 low time here. They came in on a 2:43. That team is Carmen, Layla, Anika, and Zelda. Again, everything I say is unofficial. There could be DQs and so on that I'm not aware of. So if there are, I apologize, but we don't get notified of that up here. Okay, a couple swimmers still coming in. Take you a while. Oh, there, everybody's in and out of the pool. That's why. All right. All right, so we have the boys team coming up. Give you a quick, should have 3 lanes here. Madison C, Madison B, and Ridgewood B. Lanes 3, 4, and 5. Should be Daniel in 3, James in 4, and Evan in 5. This is heat 1 of 2 for the boys medley relay, and then we'll have our heat 2, which those names are now on the top right of your screen for those teams. All right, since we have 3 swimmers here, we'll go a little tight. Again, this furthest from us should be Daniel, middle James, and then lane 5, Evan. If you are just joining us, all this information is in Meet Mobile. You can get results eventually, but you can see where swimmers are scheduled to swim, what event, what heat, and then what lane. We'll go back overhead. Entering the pool in lane 3 should be Duarte, lane 4, Enrique, and lane 5, Miguel. Again, these are what the names that were put in, not necessarily if there was any last-minute changes, I would not have that information, but those are the swimmers that were slated to swim in these slots. All right, this should be Miguel in the blue, white and blue. Right behind him should be Enrique. And then coming into our picture, Duarte. All right, let's go overhead. Third swimmers entering. Lane 3 should be Liam, 4 Parker, and 5 Jack. So left to right, Jack, Parker, and then Liam. All right, anchor legs entering the pool. Lane 3, Oliver. Lane 4, Landon. Lane 5, Ben. Freestyle to go. First in the pool there is Ridgewood in lane 5, followed by Madison in 4. And then we have Madison in 3. Again, top right will be our Heat 2 teams. First to turn down there, this should be Ben. And in the background, Landon, and then Oliver making his way down to turn. All right, we'll take each into the wall. Nice job. They go low, should be 310. Yeah, some of those times. So if you're not familiar, the timing system it's known as a lockout, where in relays, it doesn't register a touch because the touch is based on, in the pool, there's that pad against the wall, and that's going to register the touch. So the system says, you know, this swimmer just finishes. I'm not going to look for another touch for a period of time. And it seems like the guys are not getting out within that lockout period. So as they climb out, the system's looking for the next touch. And unfortunately, it registers that. And that's why we're getting some kind of inaccurate amount of touches and then the splits and everything else. All right. In the pool, lane 1, Logan, 2, Yale, 3, Zach, 4, Henry, 5, Jackson, 6, Declan, 7, Elliott. This is lane 3, Zachary Schneider out to a quick lead. Second swimmers entering lane 1, Francisco, 2, Griffin, 3, Harry, 4, Dylan, 5, Ari, 6, Jason, 7, Austin. Top right now, the swimmers for the next event. It's an individual, so you'll see the ladies' names there. That will be the 50 breaststroke. This is lane 3. Should be Harry Relaford leading him out. Take a look real quick, some other faces, then we'll jump to the wall. It's Madison A, first to transition there. Butterflyers entering the pool. Should have Owen, River, Teddy, Diego, Gordon, Levi, and Max. That is 1 through 7. Lane 7 still making their way over on the breaststroke. All right, now we have our anchor freestylers entering the pool. Lane 1, Ryan. 2, Andy. 3, Owen. 4, Logan. 5, Simon. 6, Jack. And 7 is Frank. You see Frank should be just stepping up there. All right, we'll just go wide for a little bit. We have, all right, so there you see lane 6 there just getting out. And that just registered on the board, even though the swimmer wasn't coming in. All right. We have a finish up there in lane 3 and lane 5. Lane 3 looks to go low. Now on the board, you see that zeros. That's the backup timer, or backup time, plunger, whatever you want to call it. So as part of the timing system, one of the volunteers behind the blocks has a button, think of it like a Jeopardy button, tied into the timing system. And on the finish, they push that to register should the swimmer, when they come into the wall, they don't hit the wall hard enough to register a finish. All right, lane 7, that is Frank finishing it up. So again, unofficial times, that'll all get sorted out based on the office downstairs getting the manual times and so on. All right, so that was the relays. A little hectic. Now we'll get into 50 breaststroke, heat 1 of 11. Here are the ladies' names and their lane assignments. Oh, what are we doing? 53, 1. That's weird. All right, scoreboard didn't get the names, so that's a long whistle. All right. So those names should be the ladies on the blocks. Looks like we have one empty lane there in 6. We are underway. Again, this is event 53, heat 1, 50-yard breaststroke. So 50 yards down and back. Regan, Layla, Leona, Bianca, Lucy, Peyton, Fiona, and Eleanor. Lane 6 is empty. Top right are the names for heat 2. So they're modifying the scoreboard. It's not going to affect any times. There you see the official right there with the arm in the air between lanes 7 and 8. Indicating an infraction, unfortunately. So they'll consult with another official and then determine if it deems to require a disqualification. All right, we have a finish here. And there you go, nice job. That looked like lane 5, which was Lucy Bryant, goes low. Okay, again, this was heat 1 of 11, event 53. Names for heat 2, top right. There you go. All right, real quick, folks, what I wanted to say. See this swimmer's left arm? That's how they track where they're swimming. All right. So a little insight. Now you know. That was great. All right. You didn't see that. I switched cameras. But that girl that we're looking at, her left arm, she looked down and did a little fist pump to herself. So way to get psyched up there to hop in the pool. This is heat 2 of 11. All right, now the scoreboard is back up and showing you all the information. All right, in the pool, Eloise, Kayla, Virginia, Shanna, Leanna, Mira, Zelda, and Leah, 1 through 8. Top right are the swimmers for heat 3 up next. Bottom of the screen, lane 8 coming in. That is Leah. Nice swim there, 49.93. She did not have a seed time. That 49.93 would have put her in heat 9 of 11. So just to give you a gauge on that relative to the field. All right, so that was heat 2. All right, so I'll say that a few times just to give you a little background. So when a swimmer has not swum this in a meet, they don't have an official time to gauge where they would be, kind of. So the seed time is the way of grouping swimmers of similar speed together, right? It goes slowest to fastest. So no swimmers that don't have an official time are put into the first few heats, and you'll see NT, no time, right? So then I kind of take that and say, oh, if Leah had that time as her seed time, where would she be relative to the rest of the swimmers? So that's why I said she would have been in 9 of 11, so the third from the fastest group of 8 swimmers. All right, hopefully that makes sense. This is heat 3 of 11. Chloe, Luna, Ilana, Gia, Ryan, Caroline, Chloe, and Samira. That are your swimmers 1 through 8. That is lane 3. Ilana under the flags and into the finish. Ilana came in on a 1:12.23. She just goes 56.51. So blowing through that 1 minute barrier. Nice job, Ilana, I'm sorry. That's like a 15.5-second improvement. Nice job. That was heat 3. Here we go, heat 4. Four is underway. Names for 5, top right. All right, Samantha, I see your comment. I'm glad to bring this to you. So this stream, at any point, you need to pause it. You can. It doesn't affect anybody else. You can rewind. You can. It will be able to watch later. Had a little interesting thing last night. If anybody was watching the late session, which was over 4 hours. So right when it finished, YouTube does this reprocessing, and it took it a while. So if you tried to rewatch that and you only saw 30 minutes of it, it's rectified now. That is lane 5, first to the wall. Parker goes 54.37. Another one crushing through the 1 minute barrier. Nice swim, Parker. Came in 106.45. Here we go, next heat. This is heat 5 of 11. I didn't even hear the start horn. Sorry, a little slow getting the names off the screen there. 5 is in the pool. Abigail, Maisie, Ariella, Hannah, Isabella, Mira, Isabella, and Margot. Those are your swimmers 1 through 8. All right, I don't mean this in any negative way, just a fact of, the younger swimmers, we have 9, 10-year-olds here. So the times that they came in, their seed times, that might have been from, 2 weeks ago or might have been from a year and a half ago. So as we see different swimmers kind of improving on their time, I don't have that data. I'm just trying to acknowledge great efforts right here, like Abigail Lamb came in on a 1:04.45. She just went 54. So that's a 10 second 10 and a half second improvement. So again, just I'm going to recognize great improvements. Another Ariella in 3 going sub 1, and Mira in 6 going sub 1. All the seed times in this heat were over a minute. So now as you see the next group here in heat 6, everybody is under a minute. So we're going slowest to fastest as the grouping. So as we go, we'll start to see the times drop more and more, right? Well, they'll actually level out at a point. But overall, as the heats progress, the seed times are going to be lower and lower, or faster and faster, depending on how you prefer to reference that. All right, heat 6 is in the pool. Taylor, Emmy, Eloise, Charlotte, Faye, Catherine, Avery, and Zoe, 1 through 8. Names for heat 7 are on the top right of your screen. Lane 4, lane 8, leading them home. 4 is Charlotte, 8 is Zoe. 50-27, 51-90. Nice job, Charlotte and Zoe. Charlotte came in on a 56-70. That's a 6.5 second improvement there. Charlotte in lane 4. Heat 7. Underway, Cora, Frances, Quinn, Hannah, Maisie, Evelyn, Catherine, and Abigail. So you'll notice middle of the pool finishing first. And just one other tidbit if you're not familiar. Lane 5 there, Maisie goes low, came in 53.84. She goes 46.49. That's 7 plus. So the way the seating works, as I said, it's slowest to fastest, but then the group of 8, lane 4 will have the lowest seed time. You'll see that 51.79. Then it goes to lane 5, then 3, 6, 2, 7, 1, and 8. So based on that, again, there's not a lot of separation in these times, but you would expect the middle of the pool swimmers of the 8 to finish first. So that's just another tidbit of the way the software all works. All right, 8's in the pool, the names for 9, top right. Julia, Julietta, Alexis, Cora, Dylan, Luciana, Ava, and Nayla are your swimmers. Keep an eye on lane 7. Ava going low. She came in 52.97. All right, those dots there, that just means that the backup timer was pushed. She was better than that 5-0, so over a 3-second drop for Ava. Here we go, heat 9. 9 of 11. In this heat, Megan, Cecilia, Emma, Amelia, Zoe, Grace, Devin, and Sarah. That is our lane 4 swimmer, Amelia, going low here. She came in awesome, 48.8, goes 47.2. Nice improvement there. This is heat 10. Ten of 11. Swimmers in the final heat, top right. Lanes 4, 5, and 6 turning simultaneous at that far end. We have Catherine, Claire, Anika, Sarah, Eliza, Layla, Bridget, and Sophia. There are the ladies into the finish. Lane 6 looks to go low, 43.85 for Layla. Huge drop on a 47.2 seed. That's 3 and change. 3.5? Yeah. Just under 3.5. Okay, final heat. Couple 43 seed times, middle of the pool. We're underway. I do not have the silvers and state times open, so if anybody's out there and you have that, please feel free to put it in the chat. Let's see how these ladies, if they are getting cuts. Gotta think at 43 we got something going on. Lane 5 looks to go low, 42.7, sub 43 for 2 swimmers, Ruby and Nave. Sorry, I didn't give acknowledgement. Victoria, Summer, Annabelle, Ayla, Ruby, Nave, Wilhelmina, and Edith were your swimmers there. Awesome job. Scoreboard is just cycling through a bunch of names. That's probably getting updated. All right, top right. Okay, so let's look. 42.7, 42.75, 77. All right. Somebody keep that in mind. We have the first heat for the guys, heat 1 of 6. All right, 50 breaststroke for the ladies. Let's see if this has 26 times. .4609 is a state cut. So we just saw 2 girls go 42.7 on a 46.09 state. 50.99 is your silver. So awesome swim there. Ladies, that was Ruby and Nave, I believe. All right, so 1 swimmer. I don't have any. Right. So there's a girl in 1, maybe a swimmer that missed their race previously, missed their particular heat. So good job by the officials slotting her in. Do not have a name. We'll try and get a cap. All right, in the pool for the guys. Leo is in 2. Elijah, Wesley, Walker, Mason, and Landon. Looks like a gateway capped up there in lane 1. We'll take a peek up there. Here's our swimmer in 1. All right, we'll go wide here. Show you the field. Again, this is heat 1 of 6 for the boys' side, event 54. Names for heat 2, top right. All right, the chat is open, so if you're on your phone, tablet, computer, you can post a message if you'd like, ask a question, leave a comment, or if you have a acknowledgement of a swimmer doing a fabulous time, getting a cut, personal best, or so on, please put it in there. We'll give them a shout out. Oh, I'm sorry. Swimmer's still out there in 7. I looked away at a different screen. Would it be Landon? 6-year-old out there hanging with the big guys, 7 and 8-year-olds. All right, here we are, heat 2. All right, in the pool, Dylan, Spencer, Shreehan, Yale, Diego, Logan, Luke, and Evan. Lane 8, looks like Evan's going low time there, 1:02:05. Evan did not have a seed time. Now tonight he does. That was heat 2. Big drops in the middle. Lane 6, Logan swam a 1:05, came in on a 1:22 seed. So again, the white text that I'm popping up there, so that's lane number, last name, first name, age, team, and then the seed times. So you'll see some NTs there on the outsides. Oh, I did not update that. Folks, I am sorry. Those are the wrong names. Real quick, let me do this. I know some people do make videos out of this, so you could basically take a screenshot of that and then rewind and overlay that back. So I did not update those at the start. I apologize. In the pool, Frank, Noah, Parker, Andy, Landon, Rory, Ian, and Wolf. And I apologize for any mispronunciations. Names for 4, top right. Into the wall, going low here is lane 4. That's Andy. Nice 51.24. Andy dropping a bunch off a 1:00:22. Somebody else entering the sub-1 team. There you go, guys. Parker and I think, I don't know, I have to go back and look. Maybe Rory in 6? Somewhere. There was a a finish but didn't get the touch registered. So that's why the times on the board might be higher than the actual swum time. All right, here we go, next heat. Heat 4. Underway with 4. James, Max, Elliott, and River, 1 through 4. 5 through 8 is Ryan, Declan, Avir, and Owen. I was slow there. Sorry, I didn't get you to the middle of the pool. So the intent of this camera is to show you kind of who has a good start, who gets to that midway point first. That's the logic. Official with their hand up in the middle of the pool. Names for 5 are updated top right. Lane 2 coming into the wall. That is Max. Came in on a 58.24, goes 50.86. That's 7.5 second improvement. Nice job, Max. Followed by Declan, dropping about 3 seconds. 57.92 seed, goes 54.94. Here is heat 5. Five of 6. Names for 6, top right. Final heat will be next. That's Ben and, I'm sorry, so we have Dylan, Liam, Enrique, Logan, Miguel, Ben, Austin, and Griffin. Well, lane 7's empty. That is our lane 6 swimmer, Ben, first to the wall. Nice 46.6, Ben, great swim. Came in 54.16. That's 5. What is, that's more than 5, jeez. 54.16 down to a 46. Oh, it's 7 and change. Right. This is final heat. Names you see on the top right is the heat. Next heat will be heat 1 of the 100 backstroke for the girls. In the pool, James, Anna Ruth, Gordon, Matthew, Henry, Francisco, Ari, and Liam. Final heat. Ari, the 8-year-old, hanging with the big guys. Francisco in 6. Looks to go low here, and he does, 45.34. So ignore that lane 5, unfortunately for Harry. Somebody was getting out and triggered it at 15.71. The lockout's probably 15 seconds. I haven't been really watching it, but nice low time there, 45. All right, here we go. 100-yard backstroke, so the guys will clear the pool. Can't do overhead starts for the backstroke. So overhead starts, what we've been doing, where the swimmers finish, they stay in the pool. Could also be referred to as a flyover, and that's just a time efficiency thing. So, but it does, complicate things when swimmers are slow to get out. Then it triggers the timing system. All right, this is heat 1 of 6, 100 backstroke for the girls, 10 and under, event 55. Again, all the information is in Meet Mobile. This session was event 51 through 62. Slated to wrap up close to 11. It's 9:19 real time from beautiful Madison, New Jersey, the Rose City. Hey, choo-choo train. Oh, look, choo-choo. All right, we're right along the Morristown line, so. Oh, I missed that one. All right, I don't know why we have a delay, but while we do, we'll take a peek down the lanes. Should have Eva, Eloise, Elizabeth, Victoria, Mira, Ariella, Leona, and Chloe. Should be Chloe here with the RY.
Can I have your attention, please? Can all coaches please report to Father's office on deck? All coaches for all teams, please report to the office.
All right, so there was an announcement for all coaches to report to the office. I joked yesterday, you see a lot of football games, and hockey's done it. They put a camera inside like the video room where everybody's doing the video replay so they get an idea what's going on. They don't let me put a camera inside the swim office. So. But I will say, if anybody, you got obviously every team has volunteers and different parents do different functions, but running the timing system is nice because the office is air conditioned. So with the younger groups, obviously we're going to have some new parents. If there are any questions you have on certain things you see in the meet, why certain things are the way they are, please feel free. I did this yesterday, we'll do it now while we have a minute. So the timing system consists of a couple different pieces. So this box is a battery box. It has a microphone connected to it. The strobe light on top goes off at the start, and there's a speaker. So the official has a microphone, and on that microphone you need to push the side button. So if, just showing my age, if you think of like a CB radio, if anybody knows what that is, where's the microphone? Oh, it's hanging over the front. There it is. So on the front end, you see the end of the wire, that is the microphone. So there's a button on the side that you push to talk, and then there's a separate button that initiates the start. And that start will only work if the push button on the side is pushed in. So then that system sends a signal back to start the stopwatch as part of the timing system. And it's tied in, there's speakers under here. That tan box is a speaker. All right, so that's part of the timing system. So at the start, that makes this audible sound. So there's, sound takes a little time to travel. There's an argument, across the pool. So it reduces any delay there. And then in the pool is this pad. It's a pad or touch pad, which as the swimmers push on it, it registers a signal, sends it on that wire, and that wire is all connected through that block in the floor, which is then wired back to the system. All right, so that's part of it. And then the last part I mentioned before is the button. There's one on the ground there. Not finding another one. It's on the ground, just over this girl, right there. If you think of it, we're just missing the top part of it. Think of it like a Jeopardy button. That's in the tied into the timing system. So on the finish, one of the parent volunteers pushes that to register the finish should the pad in the pool not register the finish. All right, and then the only other thing behind the blocks, you'll see there's two volunteers. One of the volunteers has a clipboard, and on that clipboard are only the names for the swimmers in that lane. So the system prints out 8 different sets of paperwork, and then those are given to the 8 different lanes. So then as the swimmers come up, ideally those volunteers are checking the swimmers in, so they will know that for the next 5 or 6 races, these are my swimmers. Should they not have a swimmer in a couple races, they can send a volunteer to go find them. But one thing of note, like if you're in lane 8, you then have a lot of empty lanes based on numbers. Things don't divide by 8. Lane 8's the first one to lose its swimmer, right? So there's an argument that sometimes when you're doing the timing, doing lane 8, you have less work to do. So some people prefer that. Some people prefer lane 4 because 4 or 5, the swimmers finish first. Typically, they're the faster swimmers, so you have more time to finish your time, write it down on that clipboard. There's that clipboard I was talking about, and then get ready for the next race. So as you do more volunteering, you'll go through that. So that is the clipboard only for those swimmers, and then those couple blank lines you see is where they will be writing down the manual times, because each of the volunteers has a stopwatch behind. All right. And then there's always the last aspect of that. So one person has a clipboard writing it down, the other person has their stopwatch, they stop it. Do they either show it to the other person or do they read it out loud? And that's something those 2 volunteers will figure out, and everybody has their own little preferences. All right. So if I forgot anything, anybody else has something to add, please put it in the chat. Let's do a little crowdsourcing here to educate any new parents or maybe an aunt or uncle or a grandparent that wasn't exposed to swimming, because it does take a little experience over the years to learn all the nuances. All right, I guess we're back swimming. I do not know what was discussed. This is Event 55, Heat 1. We are underway. Heat 1 of 6. Yiva, Eloise, Elizabeth, Victoria, Mira, Ariella, Leona, and Chloe. Names for Heat 2, top right. This is 100 backstroke, 4 lengths of the pool. So this will be a 50 split or a 50 turn. That's lane 4, Victoria, first to turn at the 75-yard. 1 more length to go. Good support from teammates there. You'll see them behind deck cheering on the swimmers. All right, looks like lane 1's gonna go low. Victoria I think she had a little slow turn at that far end. Go back and watch. So younger swimmers, as you come under the flags, got to understand how many more strokes to gain the distance to the wall. And that'll come with time. All right, low time there. Yiva in lane 1, 1:44. Nice swim. That was Heat 1 of 6. Here we go with Heat 2. Names for three, top right. 2 is underway. Eliza, Annabelle, Julia, Stella, Samira, Zelda, Mira, and Bonnie. This is the halfway mark, 50 yards complete here. Lane 2, first to turn, Annabelle. All right, we'll let remainder of the field turn here, and then we're going to jump down to the far end. Lead swimmers already turned, lane 2, making her way back. This will be the final 25 off this left-hand wall. Take a wide view here, top of your screen, a little hard to see. We'll get a little closer. This is Annabelle finishing in 2. Did not have a seed time, but she just swam a 1:23. That's an awesome swim there. So perspective, the low seed time was one swimmer better than that. So in the final heat, we had one swimmer sub 1:23. So to give you an idea, nice swim, Annabelle. That was heat 2 of 6. 10-year-old, 9:10, 100 back. So 9:10, 100 back, 126.59. Guess what, folks? We just had a state time presented to you right there. Annabelle in lane 2. State 126.59. Silver 130.99. Again, unofficial. I think I'm looking at what was presented as a 2026 from Ocean County Y. So if there is errors in that, we can blame them. But unofficial. Don't book the hotel yet, Mom and Dad. But get ready. Start saving up. This is heat 3 of 6. In the pool, Elizabeth, Faye, Lillian, Luciana. That's 1 through 4. 5 through 8, Mary, Angelina, Dylan, and Margot. All right, lane 4, first to turn at the 50, 46.80 there for Luciana. All right, lead swimmer at the 75 on this left wall. Again, that's Luciana in 4. Came in on a 1:53.09. I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're dropping a bunch of time on that. She's at 1:23, half of the pool left to go. We'll jump on the finish down to see Luciana under the flags. Again, came in 1:53. She's going 1:36.42. Nice job. That's 13 plus 17, 18 seconds. 40. Nice swim. All right, up in 2. Don't worry, that's not a DQ. That's just that the backup time was pushed. So a lot of times younger kids coming into the pad, they'll hit the top of it, which isn't sensitive, only the face of the pad. So that's why we're seeing those backup times. So the volunteers behind the blocks, they're just responsible for pushing the button when the first part of the body hits the wall of any point. The officials will judge if it's a legal finish or not. And that's less a case here, more a case things like breaststroke where you need to have two hands. This is heat 4. Cora, Abigail, Lily, Julietta, Catherine, Lisa, Nayla, and Alice. And here the ladies making their way. This turn will be 75 yards complete. Let's give a little extra view up here. Cora in 1. Nice job coming into the finish. She goes low. Cora Pearson came in on a 1:50.02, goes 1:36.52. It's 13 and a half seconds. Nice swim, Cora. And a smile. Let's get that. There's a good smile. Caught it. All right. This is heat 5. We're off with 5. Panina, Chloe, Claire, Carolina, Catherine, Ava, Hannah, and Bridget are your swimmers in the pool. All right, the ladies at the 50-yard mark. At 75, looks like Claire in 3, first to turn, followed by Ava in 6. They're under the flags and into the finish. Lane 3, Claire going low. It's a nice 6-second improvement on a 1:39.45 down to a 1:33.54. Nice job, Claire. Again, silver is 1:30.99. This is final heat. Again, earlier we had that outstanding swim by, name's escaping me. Underway, final heat. Let me update the names here. We got boys up next. This is our last heat for the girls. See those boys' names top right? Oh, Annabelle Federock earlier was the swimmer in Heat 2. Didn't have a seed time, but got a state cut in it. This is final heat, Heat 6. Swimmers will be at 75 yards here at this wall. Lane 4, Beatrice Wade leading them out. Beatrice came in 122.90, which is state cut level. Right? Yes. She's under the flags. Going to be close to improving on that, and we are 121.59. Nice over 1 second drop. Beatrice, awesome swim. Couple silver times in there. So, awesome swim, ladies. .121, awesome. This is Heat 1 of 4. There, real quick, there's a coach acknowledgement. Gotta love that. Nice job. Congratulations, Beatrice. All right, the boys turning at 50. All right, shout out to Madison coach real quick. Swimmer just went state cut, ABC, always be coaching. So still had pointers for her after she came out of the pool. Nice job, Coach Kevin. All right, at the far end of the pool, 3 swimmers, Elijah, Miguel, and Logan in this Heat 1 of 4. Names for Heat 2, top right. Does anybody get the ABC, always be coaching? What that, actually, there is another like cult movie that used a similar ABC, but different purpose. All right, low time there goes 141 to Miguel. Did not have a seed time coming in. Awesome swim there, Miguel. This was Heat 1 of 4. And that is our lane 3 swimmer, Elijah, finishing up. All right, we'll go back overhead here. Getting ready for Heat 2. So this is event 56, Heat 2, as you see on the bottom right of your screen where we're going for next. Why did that? Is that not formatted? Did I? I'm sorry, folks. I might have pushed the button too quick. I had the wrong names possibly just displayed. Let me go back and fix that. I apologize. All right, real quick, we're going to do this as the boys are coming back. I'm sorry. Here's who's in the pool. I pushed the button too quick. All right, this is a 50 turn for the boys. This is Heat 2 in the pool. Names top right are your Heat 3 swimmers. This will be a 75-yard turn for the guys. Lane 6, first to turn, Logan. So we have Liam, Ryan, Avir, Jack, Kabir, Logan, Evan, and Brian. That's Logan already under the flags and into the finish here. This was Heat 2. A 129 there for Logan. Did not have a seed time. Wrapping up lanes 1 and 3 on their way in. Again, this is Heat 2 of 4. All right, here we are now with the names corrected for Heat 3. 100-yard freestyle will be the next event after a couple more races. We have this and then one more. You see that on the bottom right. 57 will be the girls, 100 free. 50. Yeah, that's funny. Why is that? I have an extra line in there. I don't know why of that between 57 and 58. We're going out fast here. Lane 6. That is Brennan. Brennan first name is Henry Brannon. Followed by lane 7, then lane 1, Max in 7, Diego in 1. Ready at the far end of the pool there for Henry. Henry came in on a 142 seed, going out on a limb. He's dropping a bunch. Nice job, Henry. Gets the touch with the lunge. 118.16. Henry brings it home. Awesome swim. 9-10 boys, 100 back. State 125.09. Silver 131. Ladies and gentlemen, another state cut, unofficial. All right, final heat. This is our Heat 4 of 4. Top right, you see the ladies' names for that 100 free up next. All right, in the pool, Jack and Jack, 1 and 2. Jackson, Levi, Connor. Henry's in 6, Gordon and Yale. First to turn, Levi, Balin. Came in on a 114.90. Again, stake cut 125 here, so well under that coming in. Let's go home with Levi here. And he's right on that 115.83 with a swim. Lane 3 coming home, 122.57. That's state level cut. Again, state 125.09. Nice job. Unofficial, but Jackson Stover in 3 looks to be sub state qual. All right, here we are, 100 freestyle for the ladies, event 57, heat 1 of 9. So this event was slated to go off at 9:40. It is 9:50 here, real time. So staying pretty close to schedule. We had that coaches meeting, added a little bit of delay, but overall, meet's moving along. All right, here are the guys turning at the 50. So the estimated start time of the final event is 10:56. 9:40. So about another hour and 5-10 minutes of swimming to go. A lot of separation here. We'll stay as the ladies finish their turn here. And then we'll go wide. All right, lead swimmer, lane 5, coming back at us. Thanks. That's Hannah finishing up there. Nice swim, 123.10 for Hannah. Again, this was heat 1. All swimmers did not have a seed time. And in these situations, that's when you get this separation. And then just read it real quick. So we have it 100 free, silver 119.99, state 115.79. So sub 120 will get a silver cut. That was heat 1. Here we are with our, we have a swimmer out in 7 or 8 coming in. Eleanor's 7-year-old bringing it home with the big ladies, 8 and 9-year-olds, rest of the pool. Nice job, Eleanor. Unfortunately, she's just off the frame there. This is heat 2 of 9. Names for 3, top right. All right, lanes 7 and 8 did not have a seed time coming in. Same with 1 and 2. Again, that's why you'll see separation like this, just because the system had no way of grouping an estimated time for these swimmers. So in the pool, lane 1 is Mira. Then we have Isabella, Stella, Penelope, Maisie, Shauna, Bonnie, and Kaya. That is Bonnie in 7, first to turn at 75. This is heat 2 of 9. All right, and into the finish here. We'll jump back, catch the rest of the field. This is lane 8 also finishing. 133. All right, we'll go back, catch the rest of the field coming in to finish. That's lane 5. On about a 150, 151. Is that Maisie? Big improvement off a 2:15 seed time. Good swim, Maisie Sullivan. That was heat 2. Here's our entries for heat 3, 3 of 9. In this heat, Bree, Abigail, Charlotte, Layla, and then Gia, Elizabeth, Liana, and Caroline. And some excited teammates cheering them on there at that far wall. All right, kind of off the frame, top of the screen, lane 1, Bree out at the 50, taking the first turn there, followed by 3 and 2, Charlotte and then Abigail, and then lane 8, Caroline. All right, the ladies 75 complete at that left-hand wall. All right, we'll take a look at this top group. First 3 finishers, lanes 1, 2, and 3. That's Bree, Charlotte, and then Abigail into the wall. Nice job, ladies. So all of them about 131-ish. 8 and 9-year-olds, nice swimming. Okay, that's going to conclude heat 3. Here we go at heat 4. In the pool, heat 4, Alexandra, Luna, Taylor, Parker, Angelina, Mary, Alice, and Ariella. And the ladies turning at the 50 here. Names are updated top right for the next heat, heat 5. Lead swimmer there, lane 4, Parker, at the 75-yard marks, leading them out. Followed by lane 7, which is Alice. And into the finish, Parker's gonna go low. She came in 148.69. Over a 10-second drop, 137.56. Allison 7 came in 154.66. She goes 140. That's 14 plus. Nice job, ladies. Here we go, heat 5. So the official saying stand. I think there's confusion in lane 2, didn't have a swimmer up. Now they're saying relax. Oh wait, there's 2 swimmers in the pool in lane 2. I didn't see what happened. Anybody? All right, we're getting a reset here. We are underway. This is heat 5 of 9. Lillian, Kaylana, Julietta, Bibi, Lisa, Ellie, Charlotte, and Dylan are your swimmers in the pool. This is our 50 turn. That is lanes 3 and 4 turning. Julietta in 3, Bibi in 4. "75 yards complete." Very ready under the flags, coming into the finish. Lane 4, Bibi's going low, came in 137.45. She goes 124.96. 12-second improvement, 12 and change. 12.49, so 12 and a half, we'll call it. Okay, here we go, heat 6. All right, swimmers in the pool. Victoria, Alexis, Frances, Abigail, Chloe, Natalie, Emmy, and Eva is in 8. Ladies are turning at the 50. Top of your screen, lane 1, Victoria. And then lane 6, Natalie setting the pace there. Tight one here, 1 and 6. Lane 6 with a big kick there towards the end, 126 for Natalie. Natalie came in on a 134.9. That's a 8-second improvement. That was heat 6. Here's heat 7. In the pool with this heat 7, Evelyn, Naila, Ava, Maisie, Ruby, Bridget, Zoe, and Hannah. Ladies turning at the 50. First to turn, lane 4, Maisie, turning on a 39.10. All right, lane 4 is Maisie coming home. Lane 5 is Ruby to her right. Lane 1, Evelyn. Big push there, lane 5, 123 for Ruby. Look at that second half split of 43-2. Impressive second half, Ruby, nice job. Here we go with heat 8. Names for 9, top right. In the pool with heat 8, we have Lily, Cora, Panina, Emma, Vivian, Carolina, Grace, and Amelia. And they're at their 50-yard turn here. All right, we have a swimmer withdrawing in lane 7. All right, coming into the finish here. Lane 4 is going to go low time. 117.99 for Emma. Second to the wall, 123 for Vivian. 17.99, 117.99. That is a silver cut there. So silver is 119.99. State 115.79. All right, so that was heat 8. Here we go with 9. All right, so that swimmer withdrew, got out under her own. She's on the deck talking to coaches. This is final heat. Anika, Avery, Sarah. So Sarah Los and then Sarah Silvera. Lane 5 is Sophia, Beatrice, Carmen, and Catherine. Those are your swimmers here, final heat. We're turning at the 50. Heat 1 of 6 for the boys will be up next. Those are the names you see top right. Ladies at 75 wall here. That is lane 6. Beatrice Wade called her name earlier for that state cut earlier. Keep an eye on lane 1. Anika looks to go second low here. Beatrice brings it home, 111.90. Awesome, improving on a 115.83. So again, that state was a 115.79, silver 119.99. Beatrice goes 111.90. Awesome. Here we go. Heat 1 of 6 for the guys. Landon, Sharon, Brian, Spencer, and Leo. And they're off. Already back at the start end for the guys. All these swimmers came in with no time. NT did not have a seed time, so we'll see some separation here. First to turn, lane 4, Brian Morris. Again, this is we're now into event 58. So you can see down the bottom, we have the 50 fly and then 200 IMs in front of us. All right, we have a swimmer finishing here. This is Brian in 4. He's going 1:28.19. So 100 freestyle, 9 and 10 boys. Silver cut 1:20.59. State cut 1:14.39. So an interesting thing, if anybody's out there, if you rewatch this with the AI companion that YouTube has, you can actually search on words and names. So if you're rewatching this at some point, you could type in, did the commentator mention a state cut? And it should do a pretty good job matching it. Sometimes it has trouble with some of the live streams. It takes a while to process, but just one of the, I guess, more useful uses of AI in this world versus just generating images of unbelievable things, or non-believable things, I should say. Not unbelievable. Unbelievable would be good. Non-believable, bad. This is heat 2 of 6. Boys are underway here. We have Luke, Avir, Ayan, Evan, Francisco, Luke, Teddy, and Noah. Here are the guys at the 50. Names are updated top right for Heat 3. Teddy in lane 7 coming home. 122.28. Nice job, Teddy. Good swim. Did not have a seed time coming in. That 122, though, put him in heat 5 of 6. So within the top 15 times of the seeds coming in. All right, that was 2. Oh, sorry about that. I just dropped the name right on top of you. All right, here we go. Heat 3. Kabir, Andy, Enrique, Austin, Jack, Ryan, Duarte, and Liam. All right, the boys at the 50. Andy in 2, first to turn on a 43.8. Jack in 5, having a big second half here. He's under the flags, looks to go low time. Jack Pardon goes 132, 133 and change. Came in on a 138.8. Nice 5-second improvement. I think his time was better than that board, 135.5. We'll have to check when we get the official time. Again, all the results will be in Meet Mobile, so you can download that app if you don't have it. You don't need to subscribe. The results will be free for this meet. Other meets, you might need to subscribe to see the results. Underway here with Heat 4. We have Elliot, Frank, River, and Colin, 1 through 4, and then Ben, Griffin, Liam, and Rory, 5 through 8. Lanes 3 and 5, River and Ben, first to turn here at the 50. And here's a look at the boys at the 75 wall. Lane 4, Colin Beatty between the two, putting himself in the mix. Now take a look at these three finishing. All right, Colin takes the low time there. Look at that 42.05 second half. Big effort, Colin. He came in on a 128.35. So that's a 5 and change, pardon me. This is heat 5 of 6. Names for 6, top right. Second to last heat for the guys, then we'll move into 50 butterfly. Oh, wrong button. Sorry, folks. Lane 5, Sladimir first to turn. All right, lanes 1 through 4, Declan, Jack, Owen, and Simon. As I said, Sladimir's in 5. Then we have Jack, Jason, and Anderuth making up the remainder 6 through 8. $114.39. All right, might be a stake cut right on it. Come on, 114.99 for Sladimir. Unfortunately, state was 114.39. He's knocking on the door. Hope you get it soon, Sladimir. That is a silver. Here it is, final heat. A couple guys are ready in here, middle of the pool, have state level cuts. Henry Brannon, 107.07 seed. That's just awesome. Oh, so that was no fault of the swimmers. Somebody yelled right before the start. All right, guys out fast. We're going to move quick here, get the names updated for you. As we have girls coming up next with the 50 butterfly, which will be the next race. Those are the names you see top right. In the pool, Jackson, Matthew, Levi, Henry, and then Zachary, James, Connor, and Henry Pularo. Lane 3, first to turn, Levi Balin. 3, 4, and 5 tightly grouped together. And they turn in that order, 3, 4, 5. All right, we're going to follow these three home. Lane 3, Levi, Henry, and then Zach, 3, 4, up, yep. And he goes low, awesome, 105.67. Levi goes low. Henry's dropping time in 4, 107.07, goes down 106.44. And big drop, Zach came in 109. He goes 106.45. Congratulations, guys. Great swim. 3 state cuts there. Dropping time on those. Somewhere they're in the mix. All right. Good to get a little reaction. Awesome swim, guys. 50 butterflies up next. Heat 1 of 9. We are underway. Gia, Fiona, Leona, Elizabeth, Adeline, Reagan, Luna, and Eleanor. All right. So I said it before, sometimes, lane 8 will get empty lanes. In this case, we have 9 heats. All lanes are full, so we had a total number of entries divisible by 8 with no remainders, so that's why we have this scenario. A lot of times you won't, like previously we had races with lanes 1 and 7 and 8 being empty. So this is 50 butterfly. Ladies already coming home to finish. That is lane 3, Leona going low time, followed by lane 5, Adeline. Nice job, ladies. Way to get it started. 54, 21, 58. Couple sub ones. That's awesome. This was heat 1 of 9. 50 butterfly. Silver 50, 30. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong section. 50 fly. Silver 42.59. State 38.99. Here we go, heat 2. Ladies are in the pool, we're away. Lane 3, far end, that's Zelda, first to turn. Rest of the field in 1, 2 is Catherine and Eliza. Lane 4, Maisie. Then we have Chloe, Penelope, Bonnie, and Yiva. Lane 3 ready under the flags. And into the finish, Zelda goes low, 39.87. It's awesome time. Again, 50 fly, 42.59 is a silver cut, so we're there. 38.99 state cut. All right, so that was our heat 2. Heat 3 entries. Names for 4, top right. In the pool for heat 3, Samira, Isabella, Edith, Mira, Margot, Devin, Ira, and Liana. That is our lane 6 swimmer, Devin, first to turn at the far end. Here we go into the finish. Devin brings it home, low time. Came in on a 108.35. We're dropping more than 10 seconds on that. Second to the wall, lane 4. That's Mira dropping 5 plus off of 106.53. Nice job. She came home 101.47. All right, that was heat 3. Here we are with heat 4 entries. All right, here we go. Heat 4 of 9. In the pool in this race, Kayla, Chloe, Kayana, Bree, Charlotte, Alexandra, Elizabeth, and Angelina. Everybody had a seed time greater than 1 minute. A couple girls right on the edge. See if we're going to break through that in this race. Looks like Bree Lewis is bringing home the low time here, lane 4. And we're way under that 1 minute mark. Nice job, Bree. She came in 1:00:45. Smashing through that 1 minute mark. All right. Nice job, ladies. All right, I think lane 7 might have had the touch from the previous swimmer getting out. So we'll have to double check on that time. Here we go, heat 5. Names for 6 are on the top right. 5's underway. We have Alexis, Virginia, Lucy, Mary, and then Elena, Alice, Faye, and Abigail. Top to bottom, left to right on this view. Looks like lane 3 and then lane 7. Lane 3, Lucy. Lane 7, Faye at that first turn. Lane 3, Lucy going low. Lucy came in 56.6, goes 49.41. That's 6+ seconds. Nice job. Call it 7. It was a love. Yeah. Mid 49 to a high 56. Nice job. This is our swimmers for heat 6, 6 of 9. We have Victoria, Cecilia, Lily, Panina, and then Ellie, Lillian, Charlotte, and Ryan. Looked like Ryan in 8, first to turn at that far wall. Her and Charlotte, who's in 7, pacing the ladies. All right, bottom of your screen as they come in. All right, looks like Charlotte's going low time, 48 and change. She came in 53.4. So about 5 seconds depending on that official time. Nice sportsmanship. Ryan going over from lane 8 to shake Charlotte's hand in 7. This is heat 7 of 9. Seven's underway. Names for 8, top right. In this race, Sarah, Bianca, Chloe, Wilhelmina, Anika, Quinn, Cora, and Francis. Lane 5 out fast. That's Anika Sharma. Let's take a look. Anika's awesome stroke here, bringing it home. She's going to get the low touch there. 39.2. Way to go, sub 40. Nika came in 48.7. Again, state cut 38.99. This is heat 8 of 9. In the pool, Julia, Amelia, Megan, Natalie, Summer, Leah, Zoe, and Layla. Second to last heat here for the girls. Then there's IMs towards the after this is the next event. Layla in 8. Keep an eye bottom of your screen. She came in 48.2. Dropping a bunch on that for Layla. Low time though goes to Summer in 5. Summer came in 44.15. Goes 38.33. That's almost 6 seconds. Big drop though for lane 8. Layla came in 48.2. Goes 38.4. Call that 10 seconds. Final heat. 38.4. 38.4 worse. Yeah, those are a couple state cuts there. 38.33, 38.46. All right, official asked him to clear the pool. This is the final heat. Names on the top right is the first heat for the boys, where we have 7 heats. I mentioned it earlier, but I tried to get it, and so on the bottom left of your screen, you do see the start box there. So that's funny. So you'll see a strobe light go off on that bottom left of your screen on the top of that box. There it is. All right. I normally try and get that in. I forgot that I made that adjustment, and there it is. All right, this is final heat. Eloise, Catherine, Nave, Annabelle, Carmen, Vivian, Sarah, and Zoe. Looks like lane 4, Annabelle, bringing it home, going 36.11. Awesome swim. She had a lower seed, but still, that's well under the 38 and change state cut. Nice job. All right, first heat for the guys. Nice swimming, ladies. So we had a few state cuts there. 3, 4, maybe 4, 3, maybe 4. All right, first heat for the guys. Heat 1 of 7. All right, so it's 10:39 real time. This event was supposed to go off at 10:23. So just short of about 15 minutes delayed. The last event was slated for 10:48. So maybe 20 more minutes of swimming for the IMs that are up next after these 7 heats. So we have 3 heats for the girls, IM, and 2 for the boys. All right, if you are dropping off, glad you can join us. Hope you enjoyed the coverage. This is Mike with Common Guy Sports. We're back, if you're interested, for the 11-12s and then 13 and overs. The live stream will be able to be rewatched. I am also recording it to see if I have a better quality version. Look at this tie. We're going to be tight here. 101. Everybody goes to the backup timer. Way to be, guys. Nice race. 3 swimmers. Liam, Mason, and Logan. All right, here we are, Heat 2. Elijah, Wesley, Luke, Duarte, Ben, Dylan, and Walker, 1 through 7. I will upload So as I said, I'm taking a recording. I will upload that tonight. Quality might be better than rewatching the live stream. The internet here is, I don't want to say it's bad. It's just not. So if you're familiar with networking, it has a lot of jitter. So that's basically, it's not a consistent amount of time to get things from point A to point B. And that definitely has an impact into the quality because YouTube basically has to receive everything and then reassemble what I'm sending them. And that's really impacting the quality. So I will upload another one. So if you are rewatching this, maybe over the holidays, sitting around, put a little fire on, put a little Common Guy Sports on. Hopefully we'll have a better version for you to rewatch. So be on the lookout for that. Just if you want, you can subscribe to the channel. You get notified. You don't need to. I was happy I surpassed the 1,000 mark kind of as a personal milestone. But take a look in a week or so and should have the other versions up there if you wanted to rewatch that. All right, this was Heat 2. Elijah, Wesley, Luke, Duarte. I think I read those. I did. All right, low time on the board goes to lane 5, Ben, 55-2. Here we go with Heat 3. I did not update those. Hold on. Here we go with Heat 3. All right, underway. I think we had a goggle issue there in 7. Hopefully we power through that. All right, Heat 3 in the pool. We have Miguel, Kabir, Jack, Liam, and then Yale, Noah, Ayon, and Liam. First to turn, lane 4, Liam, Madden. Names for 5, top, 3's in the pool. Names for 4, top right. Lane 4 going low. Liam Madden came in 101.60, goes 48.70. It's 13 seconds. Shucks, folks, I did not update those names. Those were not accurate. I'm going to... All right, here are the boys making their way back. Sorry about that. We'll do this real quick. Let me just pop the names here so we have them right. Yeah. Matthew in 5 goes low time. He came in 55.4, just goes 40.92. That's 14 plus improvement. Nice job. This is heat 5 of 7. Names for 6, top right of your screen. In the pool in 5 is Griffin, Parker, Francesco, Max, Dylan, Ari, Frank, and Jason. Max in 4, 41.73, dropping almost 6 seconds. That was heat 5. Here's our entries for heat 6. Heat 6 of 7. Underway here with heat 6. Owen, Declan, Harry, and Logan. And then Jackson, Henry, Logan, De La Alvaria, and Sladimir. So Logan Kim in 4, Logan De Oliveira in 7. Henry Pilaro in 6, bringing it home with the low time, going 39.94. Nice job, Henry. He came in 46.17. That's 6 1/4. Nice job. This is our final heat. Top right of the girls for the first heat of their 200 IM. In the pool is Jack, Brian, Teddy, and Zachary, James, Owen, Simon, and Diego. 50 fly for the boys. $42.89 is silver, $38.49 state. We're well under that. Nice job, Zachary. James also great swim, dropping time. James came in 39.5. He goes 37.12. Zach came in 35.61. Goes 34.04. Again, I'm sorry, I abbreviate. Sorry. Zachary, we'll keep it official. All right, first heat. 200-yard IM for the ladies. Luciana, Hannah, and Ayla. It's going to be 50 yards of each stroke, so down and back on each stroke discipline. Oh, why? All right, we're underway. So butterfly back, breast free is the order for the IM or individual medley. All right, that is Ayla in 5. Here's Hannah in 4. And then to the right of your screen is Luciana in 3. We'll take the turn here with Ayla. So she has breaststroke and freestyle to go. So 100 yards down, 100 to go. Coming into your picture is Hannah. And then Luciana towards the top of your screen. All right, we'll jump forward. Lead swimmer, lane 5, Ayla. She'll be transitioning from breast to free. While we have a moment, we'll try and see some faces here as they crisscross. So lead swimmer going right to left. She'll be halfway through her freestyle. This is Hannah closer to us, and then Luciana. They'll be transitioning here from breaststroke to freestyle. And then we'll pick up Ayla. She'll be coming down from the left side of your screen. She'll be finishing. And here she is. Nice job. All right, real quick. We have a turn at the far end and then 25 freestyle to go to wrap it up. Heat 1 of 3. All right, nice job, ladies. That was Heat 1. Here's our entries for Heat 2. All right. 2 is in the pool. Names for 3. Top right in the pool, we have Emma, Catherine, Lisa, Carolina. And then 5, 6, 7 is Parker, Avery, and Evelyn. Lane 8 is open. Lane 1, Emma Jamis, out fast with that butterfly. Just get up here and see a little closer of her. All right, we'll go wide so you can see everybody else turning. 50 yards down, 150 to go. We're into the backstroke. All right, top of your screen, that is Emma. She'll be halfway through her backstroke. She's just turned. All right, we're going to swing all the way to the start end. Top of your screen, Emma. This is at the 100-yard turn. She has breaststroke freestyle to go. Everybody else transitioning now to the breaststroke. All right, you see the swimmers coming at us here. This will be halfway through the breaststroke. They'll have 3 lengths to go after they turn on this right-hand wall. Take a look, top of your screen. This is Emma coming back on her breaststroke. All right. Emma's turning now into freestyle. We'll see her off the wall, top of your screen. That's our lead swimmer. Followed by Carolina in 4. And then 6 and 7 is Avery and Evelyn. Three, 2, and 5 turning. All right, everybody's on freestyle now. Lead swimmer, go top right of your screen, lane 1. Emma's making her way home. We'll catch her, and then we'll jump back to the next group. This is Emma into the finish. Nice swim, 3:16. This is second and third running order. Close one. Nice job, ladies. 3:30s. Oh. Lane 7 into the wall and 6. Oh, that 6 was already in. Here comes 2, 3. Nice job. So that time by Emma, 3:16.54, is silver. So 3:16.99, silver, 3:06.59 state for the 200 IM for 9, 10-year-old girls. Nice job. So you can see here, Ruby already came in. She had a 3:04. So we have 1 silver qualifier coming in. See if anybody else can join her. This will be the final race for the girls, and we have 2 heats for the boys. Those names for the first heat at top right. All right, butterfly section wrapping up. Lane 8, first to turn. That is Beatrice Wade. Turns on 40.29. All right, the other swimmers in the pool, lanes start with lane 1 is Grace. Then we have BB, Sophia, Ruby. Then we have Sarah, Claire, and Victoria, and Beatrice is 5 through 8. All right, ladies will be halfway through backstroke at this section. First to turn, lane 3, Sophia Landrove. All right, this is going to be the back to breast transition. Lane 2, Sophia had a 44.89 split. Impressive, only about 4 seconds faster than the field. All right, the ladies will be halfway through breaststroke on the left wall. And then 2 lengths of freestyle after they get back to the start end. All right, breaststroke to freestyle transition. Lanes 4 and 5. Ruby and Sarah having good splits there, 51s. So again, you can see the difference, different strokes, how it makes up time. We'll stay here for a second, then we'll swing all the way to the far end. So everybody's on to freestyle. So now you can see the splits here. Lane 5, that's Sarah, first to turn. Catch the ladies coming back to us. This will be the finish. We're going lows, threes, awesome swim, 303.72 for Sarah. Came in on a 309.57, so just confirming 200 IM, state time 306.59. 1, 2, 2 cuts there. Lanes 3, lane 5. Nice swim, ladies. Big efforts. A lot of silver cuts there. Silver for the 200 IM, 316.99. Awesome. Congratulations, ladies. This is heat 1 of 2 for the guys, boys, and the men. All right, saw a lot of impressive swims this morning. Nice job, ladies. 11 o'clock here. If you're jumping off, glad you could join us today. This is Mike, Common Guy Sports. We will hopefully see you soon in the future. Any swimmers attending the Summit Area Y Deep Freeze in, I guess, about a month. When is that? Sometime in January. We'll be providing live streaming of that, so might see you down the road. And shout out Madison Parents Organization for bringing me in and funding this, so thank you to them, and hope you enjoyed the coverage. In the pool, we have Logan in 3, and then Andy, Ari, and Aniruth. All right, the guys finishing the backstroke. They'll move on to breaststroke at this turn on the right-hand wall. All right, breast 2 freestyle transition here. 150 yards complete. Lead swimmer there in lane 5 is Ari. Ari came in on a 236.45 seed. I have high confidence we're dropping a bunch on that, as he turned well under a minute under that. So I might have said 236. 336 was his seed. All right, let's come home with Ari here. Nice job. It's a 20-second improvement, folks. 20 plus. Came in 336.4, went 316.30. Nice job. Dropping time to 3:28. It's a 9-second improvement for Anaruth in 6. All right, final heat, final race. Let's hear it for the guys. Oh, there we go. All right, that was a stand call from the official. Underway, final race in the pool for this 200 IM. Lane 1 is Colin, then we have Connor, Sladimir, Henry. 5 through 8 is Levi, Simon, Gordon, and Dylan. That is lanes 4 and 5, or 5 and 4, Levi and Henry. Levi in the white cap in lane 5, Henry black cap in 4. All right, guys will be halfway through the backstroke on the left wall. We're going to swing all the way to the start end. We'll see the back to breast transition here halfway through the race. Levi leads. We'll stay here for a second. Now let's catch the guys at the far end when they'll be coming back at us. See some faces. All right, real quick, we're going to jump, see their transition to freestyle, get the splits, and then we'll go back wide. Levi leading by 0.3 at this point. Again, they're not racing first place, second place. It's all about them getting their own times. But obviously you have somebody next to you like that. It's going to kind of pull you or build the competition. All right, this will be a finish for Levi and Henry. 2:45, 2:42 were their seed times. And then we're dropping on both of those. Nice job, guys. And they're shaking hands. All right, 2:40.19 for Levi. He had came in on a 2:45.60, nice improvement. Henry came in on a 2:42.07, goes 2:41.87. Here we come with lane 6. Simon came in 3:18. He's dropping 10 seconds. Nice job. Lane 3, what happened? We didn't get a finish. Oh, there's lane 2 into the wall. And lane 7. Lane 7, 3:16 for Gordon. Dropping 9 off of 3:25. 3:18 up there for Connor. Dropping a couple seconds, 2.5 off of 3:20. 3:21 for Colin Beatty. Came in on a 3:30.96. That's 8 plus. Nice job. It's 9 plus. 3:30.96 to a 3:21.61. 64, I can't even read. Nice job, guys. And then Dylan down in 8 came in 3:32.5. He goes 3:28. That's 3 seconds. No. Wow, I am struggling with math. That's 4 seconds, folks. 3:32.51 down to a 3:28.49. 4.02. All right, audio's breaking up. Must be time to wrap up. All right, parents coming in for the next session. That's going to wrap up this morning session. We're here for the 11-12s, and then we have one more this afternoon for the 13 and overs. Again, hope you enjoyed the coverage. If you are interested in rewatching and the quality was so-so, take a look. I'll upload it tonight, tomorrow. Should have a better quality one if you are rewatching this. So I'm going to sign off. Let me just double check any comments. Nope. All right.